I mean, it looks so much to be a widely agreed notion or narrative that I'm not sure I've heard anybody who has opposed the need for Nigeria to restructure since this recent Clamour. But the question really is, Mr. Ogunye, how?
Look, it's very simple. What have we been talking about? Let's have a modality for convoking a sovereign national conference. Indeed, it will not be democratic for you and I to be so prescriptive as to say, oh, Nigeria will have 12 states. Nigeria should have this. All these are the things that sovereign national conference will discuss and agree upon, and then it will be subject to a referendum. That's what we've been saying all along.
What about the 2014 confab, Mr. Ogunye, with over 600 recommendations?
Quite frankly, I know that a lot of eminent Nigerians who were handpicked by President Goodluck Jonathan to participate in that conference are sold on that conference and its outcome. They are enamored of his recommendation. But the question of legitimacy and credibility can faces that conference because and its outcome. And you cannot look. It's important. You can have the wisest people on earth
dumping the report of the 2014 confab and instituting a sovereign national conference. It's going to take a lot of time, at least a year, for you to be able to achieve that. The question comes that, can we, in the process of editing and amending the Constitution, as it were, can we infuse the report, some of the sections of the 2014 confab, into the Constitution?
You can't, because I've talked about the issue of legitimacy. I've not talked about it, but there will also be the issue of practicability. Look, if that's what you want to do, and then ultimately you then say that this National Assembly will be the one to bring about that new constitution and all that. So what are you going to have? When, as a matter of fact, some of the people in the National Assembly may not return under that new agenda. For example, if you say that you are not going to have 36 states, that over time the military atomized the units of the Nigerian Federation from 3 regions, which at best could be 6 or 12, as was consistently espoused. Then we now have 36 states, and all of them are flagging. They cannot do anything. So what if the recommendation is that all those states will have to be consolidated, or some of them, so that we then have 12 states? So you imagine that those who are in the National Assembly will then legislate themselves out of existence.
It's a very sensitive and a very technical one from the way it looks. But we will take a moment, and when we come back, we go to the reverse politics. But then I'll allow my guests to give their concluding statements on the issue of restructuring in Nigeria. I guess you'll find some of their thoughts very interesting. That's when we come back. Stay with us.
Staying together, working together, building this nation together is the only viable way to go. Now, when you have elders in any society who have seen many things, who have experienced many things, one of the benefits that the nation has is that these elders can take the wisdom of the years and the experiences they have and say, if we want to continue to have a peaceful, productive country, then these are the things we should do. These are the things we should avoid. So we have to be thinking about these things. And as we think about these things, help other people to think along. So this is a sort of think tank effort to make sure that we do not, either by mistake or deliberately, do something that is going to defeat our true objectives.
And I want to publicly thank my younger brothers. First, Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President of this country, and Babangida, former military president of this country, for lending their voice and their great stature in Nigerian affairs to the demand of the Nigerian people for a restructured country. And because such heavy northern voices and Nigerian voices have added to it, we can be sure that half the battle is fought, and that sooner or later, the dreams of our people, particularly of our young people, will be met by the combined wisdom and leadership of the elders. The phase we are in, the elders can no longer be on the sideline. Because if we are to get things right, the elders have to use the wealth of their experience to put the young ones right, particularly in relation to our past history.